All right, let's talk about building a data product that people can actually trust. And I don't just mean a model that's accurate. I mean a system that's built to be compliant right from the very start. We're going to walk through a case study using a food delivery app we'll call Hungry Now to see exactly how it's done. So, let's kick things off with the million-dollar question. What really makes a data product trustworthy? You know, it's so easy to get completely fixated on model accuracy, on performance metrics. But real, lasting trust? That's built on something deeper. It's about respecting user data and handling our legal duties from day one. It's all about compliance by design. So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at the initial idea, the tasty but kind of risky project. Then, we'll introduce K9, the framework that guided us. After that, we'll dive into the specific engineering controls we built, show how we put them on autopilot, and finally, check out the results. It's going to be fun.
Okay, let's set the scene. Picture the team at Hungry Now. They've got this awesome idea for a new feature, an AI-powered recommendation engine. It's going to suggest meals based on what you've ordered before, the time of day, and even how close you are to certain restaurants. Sounds like a slam dunk for business, right?
But, and this is a big but, lurking just beneath this super cool idea is a total minefield of risk. I mean, we're not just talking about pizza orders here. We're handling PII, personally identifiable information. We might accidentally infer things about someone's diet that could hint at their health, or even their faith. We're tracking location, handling payment info, and all of that rolls up into creating these really detailed user profiles. That is a heavy, heavy responsibility.
And this is where the real work begins. Not with code. Nope. It starts with something called a Data Privacy Impact Assessment, or a DPIA. And let's be super clear, this is not just bureaucratic paperwork. Think of it as a critical engineering tool. It forces you to get honest, map out every single risk we just talked about, and plan your defense before you even think about writing code.
So how do you tackle all that risk in a smart, systematic way? Well, that brings us to our playbook for this whole thing, K9. This is the framework we use to translate all those complex legal rules and the risks we found in the DPIA into actual, practical engineering design patterns.
So what is K9, really? In a nutshell, it's a set of principles that help you build systems that are compliant just by how they're built. It's all about making sure you only use the data you absolutely have to, that you protect it everywhere it goes, that you have rock-solid proof of user consent, and that you have clear audit trails to show who did what and when.
Okay, enough theory, right? Let's get our hands dirty. How did we actually apply these K9 principles to the Hungry Now recommender? Let's walk through the core engineering controls we put in place one by one.
First up, data minimization. The idea here is just so simple and so powerful. Don't collect what you don't need. Did our model need a user's exact street address to find a burger joint nearby? Nope. A general area was perfectly fine. So instead of storing a full, precise postcode, we engineered the system to only grab the first part. Same result for the user, way less risk for everyone.
Next, let's talk about pseudonymization. Instead of letting a real name like Sam Patel float around our data pipelines, we swap it out for a unique token, something like U4391X. The user's actual identity is protected. That key that connects the token back to the real person, that gets locked away in a super secure vault with extremely tight access controls.
Of course, none of this matters a bit if the user hasn't actually agreed to it. And that's where consent management comes in. We didn't just have a simple checkbox. We built a dedicated table just to log consent. You can see it here. For every user, we track their token, the specific purpose they agreed to, the exact app version they used. It creates this incredibly detailed, bulletproof audit trail.
Okay, control number 4 is all about layers of security. We're talking encryption everywhere. That means using strong modern standards like TLS 1.3 to protect data when it's flying across the network, and something just as strong like AES 256 to protect it when it's just sitting in a database. And this part is absolutely critical. The keys themselves are stored in a secure cloud vault, and we automatically rotate them every 90 days.
And finally, data shouldn't live forever. You just can't keep it around indefinitely. So we set up a very clear and, importantly, automated retention policy. If a user hasn't been active for 18 months, their behavioral data is automatically and permanently purged. This respects their rights, and frankly, it just minimizes our risk over the long term.
Now, having these 5 controls is great, but doing it all manually every time a developer makes a change, that's just not going to scale. To make this whole thing reliable and repeatable, we had to build compliance right into our automated development workflow. This right here is our CI/CD pipeline, and you can think of it like an automated safety net. Before any new code can even dream of being deployed, it has to pass through these compliance gates. We automatically scan for things like exposed passwords or PII. We run tests to make sure no sensitive data is leaking into our logs. We even use policy as code to automatically block any deployment that breaks our rules. It's all about catching mistakes before they become disasters.
And this automation extends to handling user rights too. So when a user makes what's called a data subject access request, asking for a copy of their data or for it to be deleted, it's not a 5-alarm fire. We have an automated runbook, scripts pull the data, other scripts handle the deletion, and a simple verification step makes sure it's all done right. It's a calm, efficient, and totally auditable process.
So, we did all this work, we assessed the risks, we applied the K9 framework, we automated the heck out of all the controls. But what was the actual result? What was the payoff at the end of the day?
Let's start with my absolute favorite number for any security team, 0. That's it. Our automated guardrails were so effective that we had precisely 0 instances of sensitive personal data leaking into our application logs. That is a massive win, and it didn't happen by accident. It happened by design.
Okay, next up, speed and efficiency. Legally, under rules like GDPR, you often have 30 days to handle a user's request to delete their data. Because we automated our runbook, we were fulfilling those requests on average in under 48 hours. That's not just great operations, it's a powerful way of showing your users you genuinely respect them and their data rights.
But this might be the most incredible metric of them all. After we rolled out all these privacy-first features, we looked at how many active users chose to opt in for personalization. The answer? A staggering 92%. This is the ultimate proof. When you build a system that's transparent, that's trustworthy, and that gives users real control, they don't just tolerate it, they embrace it. Trust directly fuels adoption.
So when you zoom out, the business impact of this entire approach is just crystal clear. Audits are way faster and way less painful because all the proof is already baked into the system. You have fewer security incidents. And the big one, you've built a product that has earned user trust and can actually prove it's compliant by its very design.
And that's really the core idea I want to leave you with. Compliance isn't some boring paperwork you have to deal with at the end of a project. It's not a box-ticking exercise. It's about the smart, intentional design choices you make as an engineer every single day. Thanks for watching.